This is the Nürburgring, site of the 5th weekend of racing in the German Touring Car Masters. And as we have in most of our shows, we like to present to you one of the drivers involved in today's race. The theory, the present, the past, and the future. They belong together. Christian Menzel is a factory-supported driver, while his son, Nico, is getting into karts. To get into Formula racing in Europe, you start in the karts. Then it's a question of time before your talents are discovered and you get the chance at the international Formula scene.
Ich hoffe, dass die Formel-3-Saison in 95 gut beendet.
I hope that he has success in this Formula 3 season, that he'll get a chance then in the future as a test driver. Maybe in Formula 3 or Formula 1. That would be really a very good start. But it didn't happen that way. The financial support wasn't there. Formula racing was a dead end. Christian Menzel renewed his driving career in touring cars. He had 2 successful years with BMW. He works with the BMW Formula Junior drivers. He gained respect in the Super Touring cars and BMW. The German Touring Car Masters 2000 is a new challenge. Menzel was the last driver to receive a contract. He had to learn about his Opel as he raced it. He knows his team is behind him, they believe in his talent, and the success is near. And it might come here at the Nürburgring, the 2.83-mile circuit in the Eifel Mountains of Germany. New course to Peter Dumbreck.
I've done one test at the Nürburgring, so I get to see a bit of the track, and it was a nice track to drive, quite flowing. There was a very slow chicane at the end of the lap, which means you have to hit the curbs very hard. I think that's quite an important part because you can brake very late into there and take a lot of speed through if you're very aggressive with the car. So I think that's quite an important part. And the first corner also, the curbs are very high, so you can't hit the curbs too high or else the car jumps off the road and into the gravel. So you have to be smooth through there. But at the same time you have to be quite attacking on that track to try and find the final tenths that are going to put your grid position higher.
And here's how they line up for the race today. Bernd Schneider, your point leader, on the pole position. Next to him, Uwe Alzen, hoping to improve on his season. Peter Dumbreck, who you just heard, starting 3rd in the Mercedes. The Opel of Manuel Reuter starting 4th. Christian Menzel's best starting position of the year. He's coming in 5th today. Klaus Ludwig up there in the points right next to him. Then comes Michel Bartels in an Opel and Eric Ellery in an Opel. Then comes Modena and Thiemann, Opel and Mercedes bound. And they're going to be facing a track today that has been hit by rain. The Eifel is known for its problems with rain, and here it is a major question. Most of the drivers have started on wet tires, but Menzel and Bartels, Modena, Turner, and Schneider have not. They're going with slicks. It'll be interesting to see who has it. On the right is Alzen. On the left is Bernd Schneider. They're going to go into a right-hander as the cars line up. They come around the corner, they'll be waiting to take the flag. It's a blind corner until now. They cannot see the flag until now. Now it's up to the leaders. Bernd Schneider, the man who's looking to extend his point lead. Here they come, down in front of the main grandstand. And we're underway, and Schneider gets a great jump. Bernd Schneider gets a great jump, and now it's a run down to this right-hander that separates the field. There you see Uwe Alzen pulling out immediately behind him. He'll take second place. And look at that, moving up in that black Mercedes with the red mirrors is Klaus Ludwig. He's moved right up into a battle for 5th place with Manuel Reuter. Those two cars coming along as Schneider's out in front, a left-hander, and they head downhill now. There you see Ludwig with the black Mercedes and the red mirrors getting by Manuel Reuter. So you have a Mercedes up front, then comes an Opel, and then comes another Mercedes. You're riding with Manuel Reuter as the cars head down the hill into the 180 that brings them back up the hill again. And you can see how wet it is. The leaders are on wet tires. It rained in practice on Friday. It was dry yesterday, and today, well, you can see what's happened. There goes Winkelhock getting by Menzel, 2 Opel drivers. Jochen won a couple of races, or at least won one race earlier this season. Was leading and then had a problem because of rain. This is the 3rd event that's had an effect by rain on it. That would be the first race of the season in Hockenheim, then the Norris Ring, and then here. Rain certainly having an effect on the European style of racing. And right now the cars are settling into their routine already. Look at this. Bernd Schneider is out in front. Then comes Uwe Alzen. Then comes Dumbreck, and there goes Reuter off the course as Ludwig goes by. I hope that's not a sign of things to come at the Sachsenring. Opel had terrible problems with grip. And there's another Opel. Menzel has gone off the course. The Opels fighting for grip at Sachsenring had a terrible, terrible time at the last race, and they're hoping they've got the problem worked out. However, in the wet, we'll just have to wait and see. Schneider's opened up a lead already as Alzen has gone off. Another Opel has gone off. Uwe Alzen off the course. So now Mercedes is taking control here in the opening moments of the first race of the day here at the Nürburgring in the Eifel Mountains of Germany in the German Touring Car Masters. As they go into the corner, Menzel got a little bit of help there. Thomas Jaeger was the one who helped him. And so his great qualifying has gone to naught. He's back in the pack, and he's going to have to fight his way to the front once again, which is very hard in this series. The cars are all very equal. There you see Manuel Reuter. He is the lone Opel challenger right now in the points race. He's 27 points behind Bernd Schneider, and he's also behind Bernd Schneider on the track here, which means Schneider hopes that's where it stays. He can pick up some more valuable points. Klaus Ludwig now is moving up into what appears to be 2nd place. Klaus Ludwig is running in 2nd. Dumbreck is running 3rd. And let's see who's running behind him. Eric Ellery, and then comes Manuel Reuter. So Mercedes are 1, 2, and 3. And then come the 2 Opels. And then there's a gap between these cars and the rest of the pack. There's Reuter, and now Winkelhock has moved up in another Opel. Marcel Fessler in the black Mercedes, the team car from Klaus Ludwig. Once again over the start-finish line, and we've had a major change here in the standings with Mercedes taking the top 3, and then come 3 Opels with Ellery, Reuter, and Winkelhock. Fessler, the young rookie driver from Switzerland, in 7th place. Pedro Lamy, another rookie from Portugal. He is running 8th. In fact, the rookie is also 9th. And Thomas Jaeger. Jaeger, the teammate of Bernd Schneider. And there you see Laurent Aiello, a former Super Touring Car champion, driving in the Audi this year. The Audi is not as competitive as they had hoped to be. In fact, they're one of the very few that have not scored any points yet this season. Aiello has been certainly one of the stronger drivers they've had. There was an 11th place finish earlier this season, but other than that, they certainly have had their share of problems. Probably more than they want to talk about. Here you see Uwe Alzen working on Thomas Jaeger. Jaeger on the outside, Alzen on the inside. Alzen having one of those seasons you want to forget about. And Jaeger staying with him and gets by him back up the hill. Alzen has to drop down. They go into the fastest part of the course now. It's a downhill segment with a kink in the straight. They'll get up to about 150 miles an hour when they hit the straight here. There goes Alzen by him. And down the hill they go, and this is the fast part of the course, and Jaeger's not letting off. Thomas Jaeger is not letting off, and Uwe Alzen, as they head through the kink, has to drop back. The Mercedes is quicker than the Opel. The rest of the field sorting itself out. You can see the moisture hanging in the air. Manuel Reuter, Opel's hope in the championship right now. You're back with Uwe Alzen. Alzen has Thomas Jaeger ahead of him. Alzen has just gone and fought his way through this season. It's been one of those it's hard to describe. A man that was challenging for the title in the Super Touring cars has had more than his share of difficulties this year. And there goes Reuter off with a new line through the corner, followed by Winkelhock. You see the two corners there. This very sharp corner is what they built for the Grand Prix cars, and now their touring cars are using that same corner. This is Uwe Alzen at work here at the Nürburgring. It's a very fast course. Fans get a pretty good view all the way around. As once again, Uwe Alzen moves up on Thomas Jaeger. The first race of two this weekend in the German Touring Car Masters. 4 winners so far this season. Schneider, Reuter, Winkelhock, and Ludwig. And all the winners started on the pole in the first race. So Schneider, who won back at Hockenheim, taking the first 2 races out in front here, and his teammate right there, you're looking at him, Thomas Jaeger, is trying to hold off Uwe Alzen. The competition's been tough in these first races of the day. Only 1 driver's finished in all top 5s this season, and that happens to be the man that's out in front in Bernd Schneider. And only 3 drivers have finished in all top 10s in this first race. That'd be Schneider, Ludwig, and Thiemann. But you can see that when you figure that Ludwig is up there in the points, as is Schneider, these are the veterans. These are the ones who know how to get the points. However, there are some young drivers making a great name for themselves. And this right here is Bernd Schneider. And look at the lead that he is building up on Klaus Ludwig in the Warsteiner Mercedes. Then comes Dumbreck, and then behind him is Eric Ellery from France. Ellery turned 33 a little earlier this month. Uwe Alzen had a birthday on Friday, and they celebrated here at the Nürburgring. 20 cars in the field today. That's the largest field that has started a race this season. Alzen just continues to move in on Thomas Jaeger. Alzen just wants to finish well and get his good name back. He has had more problems, some of which in the beginning was him trying to adjust to a new car. Some of it was just problems that the car had. Get a good look at the course here at the Nürburgring as Alzen goes inside Jaeger. They touch a little bit. Jaeger hangs on and drops in behind Alzen. These two have been going at it regularly here. Meanwhile, up front, everybody continues to run their own race. There's Winkelhock, and right behind him is Marcel Faisler, another of the fine young drivers this year. Faisler from Switzerland. He's one of 2 drivers that have run every single lap so far in the 8 races run this season. Peter Dumbreck is the other one. Very consistent for these 2 rookies. And more battling going on. This is Ellery now, trying to move up and can't do it. New corners thanks to this wet track here at the Nürburgring, heading back toward the start-finish line. Ellery swings outside, wants to move inside. He's pulling up on Dumbreck. Here early in the running, everyone going to find the wet part of the course to preserve the tires. They have the wet tires on. They really don't want the track to dry out too quickly. And the tires will then go down. Here's Uwe Alzen once again taking on Thomas Jaeger. Maybe this time he can get by. They've been exchanging positions on a regular basis here. Jaeger's not giving up. You can just see his bumper up there in the left corner of the windshield. Did Alzen get by? It looks like he did. Once again, Ellery trying to move up on Dumbreck. This is the battle right now for third position. There's Klaus Ludwig, and here's your battle for third between Ellery and Dumbreck. Watching all this in the back in that yellow and white Opel is Manuel Reuter. Ellery, a very popular driver, but certainly had also his share of troubles this year. His one real highlight, he had one of the fastest laps in one of the races, but that's just about it. He's had more than his share of problems. And here they go again, and both of them go off. Ellery spins, Dumbreck keeps control, but went off the course. So Ellery drops back right in front of one of the other Opels, this being Winkelhock, and now Reuter is running fourth, and Marcel Fessler is running fifth. The course is drying out a little bit, but the drivers who started on slicks are so far back that it probably are not going to be able to take advantage of the fact that they started that way. The drivers with the wet tires in the beginning were the ones that are right out in front now. It looks like Dumbreck cut inside a little too much. Ellery lost it and spun. Dumbreck was out into the gravel, comes back on the course. Ellery is the one that loses positions here. Now you're viewing it from Dumbreck's perspective as he goes off the gravel. But he's able to keep it going, gets it on the course, does not spin, and actually moves up a position. Here comes Marcel Fessler working up behind Manuel Reuter. Reuter in fourth. Marcel Fessler right now is running fifth. Through the very tight and slow chicane, which leads him to the short straight and the right-hander that takes him to the start-finish line. And Fessler is pushing Reuter. He's inside. Is he going to be able to get him? He does. Reuter will drop back. As you ride with Reuter, Fessler goes over to pick up moisture for the tires. Reuter stays outside. Fessler holds on, and behind them is Eric Ellery. So the rookie, Marcel Fessler, has moved up another position. And you can see the rain coming down. And Michel Bartels has come in to change tires. Winkelhock has gone off the course with the rain coming down. They're going to have to go with the wet tires. So the drivers have started on slicks. This is Turner, Darren Turner. He's come in. He had started on slicks. He has to come out with the wet tires. He cut right out in front of Schneider. Timo Schneider, another of the rookies. He had also started on slicks and has now gone to the wet tires. And there's your leader. So you see how much time they lost. Bernd Schneider has cruised since the opening moments. He started right up on the pole and has not been stopped ever since. It's an amazing drive for him. He has had a tremendous season, as has Klaus Ludwig, who started off very, very slowly and then came back the last three races. There is Dumbreck, who is now running third. Fessler is running fourth, and Reuter is running fifth. And Pedro Lamy is running now in sixth position. Lamy, who is also a new driver, we have not heard much from him so far this year, all of a sudden seems to be challenging here as Uwe Alzen has gone off the course. Uwe Alzen off the course. Lamy started back in 15th position and has moved up until 6th. And Fessler started in 11th. And he's now in the top 5. Here comes Bartels in. And there you have Pedro Lamy right behind Manuel Reuter. No one has heard too much about Lamy this season, a former Formula One driver. There's what happened to Uwe Alzen. He took himself out. You just can't believe that the misfortune he has had. Menzel is now in. They're changing his tires. He had started on slicks, and it proved to be the wrong decision. And here comes Dumbreck with a new line through the corner, as does Marcel Fessler. That very tight chicane has seen people using all types of lines, not necessarily the ones on the track, to get through. There is Dumbreck, and right behind him, Marcel Fessler. Then Reuter, then Pedro Lamy. So the young drivers who are considered rookies this season certainly are making a name for themselves. They're running up in the top 5, in the top 10, and they are being very, very competitive. So far, though, it's been the veterans that have been winning the races. And in this type of weather, you've got 2 of the best touring car drivers up running 1 and 2, that being Bernd Schneider and Klaus Ludwig. Although a number of these drivers, with the exception of Alzen, have a lot of experience on this track in the wet when they drove Formula 3 and other Formula races that they were involved in. Alzen never started in Formula racing. He started right off in touring cars, and sometimes some of the experts say that that's one of the reasons he has trouble with this kind of weather. There goes Dumbreck again with a new angle through the corner. Fessler behind him, then comes Reuter and Lamy. You can see how wet the course is. In some areas there are puddles, particularly in the lower section, as they come across the start-finish line. As they head downhill here, they'll go through the chicane, come out of it, and then go down to a section that really has puddles in it at the 180. And you can see the water is laying in the corner. Well, Peter Dumbreck continues to roll here. Dumbreck has had a great season. He's made quite a name for himself, basically because of his consistency. He's done an extremely good job. He had 2 fifth-place finishes at Hockenheim in his very first outing in the touring cars. He was 11th and 5th at Oschersleben, 14th and 9th at the Norrisring. Then at the Sachsenring, he made a name for himself. He was 2nd twice. So he is a man to contend with. But right now, Marcel Fessler, another of the rookie Mercedes drivers, has gotten by him. And Fessler is also having what you'd call a tremendous season. It's just one of those years when the young drivers have come on so strong. Fessler, 24 years old from Switzerland, he has just been a force to contend with. Manuel Reuter, the veteran, and right now the top Opel contender in this field, hanging on, running in 4th position. Reuter had the misfortune in the first race of picking up a time penalty. He had finished 3rd at Hockenheim, but picked up a time penalty for a bumping incident and dropped out of the points, and that has hurt him ever since. He's not been able to make it up, really. And Reuter has given up a spot. Pedro Lamy has moved up one. Here's Laurent Aiello in the Audi. He is running in the top 15. So Laurent Aiello, a former Super Touring Car champion when he drove for Peugeot, has the Audi running very well here. Audi added Jason Thompson to its crew for this race. Thompson from Britain became the 3rd driver from England to come here. He'll finish out the season in one of the Abt-Audis. Once again, you're with Manuel Reuter. Ahead of him is Pedro Lamy. So Pedro Lamy, who has also been sitting back and not really been that much heard from, all of a sudden has become a force here. Lamy was 14th and 11th at Hockenheim, 7th and 8th at Oschersleben, 9th and 8th at Norrisring. He didn't pick up any points at Sachsenring, or any finish there, and he finished 12th in the second race at the Sachsenring. So Lamy has had his time of adjusting from Formula racing into touring cars. Looks like he may have found it here in the wet at the Nürburgring. First race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters 2000. The new return of the German Touring Car Masters, formerly called the German Touring Car Championship. Touring cars, one of the most popular forms of racing in Germany. At one time, the German touring cars were filling all the stadiums. It turned into the International Touring Car Championship and then unfortunately dissolved. It went from that to super touring cars, which are not quite as spectacular as these are. And then this year, the German Touring Car Championships are back. thanks in part to Volker Stritzik and Norbert Haug. Stritzik with Opel, Haug and the Mercedes, who have backed this project right from the beginning. There's certainly a number of other people who have been working on it, but they became the front men of pushing it and getting the factory entries into the series. Let's hope that next year there'll be even more factory participation. And Pedro Lamy has moved by Dumbreck. Pedro Lamy has moved by Peter Dumbreck. He's out for his, probably what seems to be right now, the best finish of his season. Amazing. Manuel Reuter. Whoa, and Lamy gets a little squirrely there. There's Fessler. Then comes Pedro Lamy, fourth. Dumbreck is running fifth right now, and Reuter has dropped back to sixth. Reuter cannot afford to drop back much further. He's got to stay within some striking distance of Schneider as Dumbreck once again goes off the course, way off the course, and Reuter gets by him. The wet conditions here making it difficult at the Nürburgring. But Peter Dumbreck paying some dues here, driving a touring car in the wet, although this is the third race weekend where rain has certainly had an effect on the series. And here in the Eifel Mountains of Germany, the weather is always a question. You never know what it's going to do. Back in the pack was Thomas Jaeger with Ellery. There you can see what happened to Dumbreck. He just went off. And Reuter stayed on the course. Dumbreck goes wide when he comes off and actually gets off onto the curbing, it looks like, a little bit. And that's where Reuter took advantage. There he goes off. And Uwe Alzen, there must be something wrong with Uwe's car. Alzen has had a bad time this season, and he has certainly gone off the course more than what we've ever expected it. But this time here, this is not something that Uwe is doing, I'm sure. There's something in the car that's not cooperating. But for this man, everything is cooperating. Bernd Schneider. He will pick up a lead here in the points race as he works on his last lap here at the Grand Prix course at the Nürburgring. Schneider won the two races at Hockenheim. He had a third and a 12th at Oschersleben. He crashed late in that race. At Norrisring, he was fourth and then came back from fourth to win the second race. At Sachsen, he came back from 11th and finished third. He was third twice at the Sachsenring. And now he's leading here at the Nürburgring. First race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters. And there you see Norbert Haug watching his driver, ready to bring it home. We're talking about Pedro Lamy. Lamy really has come on very strong. His best start was 7th at Oschersleben. He started 15th today. Can you believe that? Pedro Lamy started 15th and is now running up in the top 5. What a great race for him. But for Bernd Schneider, it's now to pick up points. They took advantage of Opel's difficulties at the Sachsenring and picked up big points, and now Bernd Schneider comes home to win his second first race of a race weekend. It's also his 4th race victory of the year. There he is, Bernd Schneider, your winner here at the Grand Prix course at the Nürburgring, the first race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters. And Klaus Ludwig continues to pull up in the points. He probably will not pass Reuter after this race, but who knows, a good finish in the next race coming up in a few minutes could put him in at least second place. Reuter, who had been so promising in the beginning, now has been challenged by this man right here, the veteran, 50-year-old Klaus Ludwig. A touring car legend in Germany, continues to show the way. And his teammate, Marcel Fessler, one of the rookies from Switzerland, finishes right behind him. Then comes Pedro Lamy, another rookie. What a great day for the rookies. What a bad day for Opel. Mercedes takes 4 of the top 5 positions. Reuter, the Opel that keeps him in there. Amazing. The next Opel, Eric Ellery, came in 8th. But this is the man of the hour in the first race. Bernd Schneider, your winner here in the 9th race of the season in the German Touring Car Masters. Ludwig 2nd, Fessler 3rd, Lamy 4th. Look at this, Peter Dembrick, another of the rookies, along with Thomas Jaeger in 6th and 7th position. The Frenchman Eric Ellery in the Opel comes in 8th position. So Mercedes shows dominance in the wet here at the Nürburgring, and Opel continues to show they have some problems in the grip area. Winkelhock having a disappointing day for him, coming in 9th. Uwe Alzen battling literally to come in 10th. And look at that, Laurent Aiello in the Audi came in 11th. That's the second time an Audi has finished that high up. Unfortunately, Audi still haven't picked up any points, but he did very well. Jason Thompson, second race in the touring cars, he didn't do too badly. Chris Nissen did not finish, he fell out early. Stefano Modena had problems right near the end of the race. You can see his car here, it went off. They're going to have to get it back to the pits so they can get it ready for the second race of the day. And while we're waiting for the second race to get started, let's take a look at another one of the drivers in the series. Bernd Schneider is not one of the loud, publicity-seeking stars. He is confident, he's strong, and he is fast. It was always that way, whether it was in karts, Formula 3, or Formula 1. Formula 1, a big disappointment. 3 fruitless years. That time is now behind him. He's a proven star. Since 1991, he's led Mercedes in touring cars. He was the German touring car champion and the international touring car champion. He was the man of the hour. After the International Touring Car Series dissolved, he moved to GT cars. And once again, he was champ and runner-up too. This year's Masters title seems to be headed toward Bernd Schneider's pocket, but it won't be that easy. And when Schneider has a problem, the problems make him stronger, as we've seen here at the Nürburgring and, in this case, at Hockenheim. Ready to go. Second race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters here at the Nürburgring, and the full complement of 20 cars coming out for the start of the second race of the day. And once again, weather will play an important part. Here's how they line up. Bernd Schneider, your leader. Klaus Ludwig finished second. He was second in the start row today here in the second race. You start according to how you finish in the first race. Fazler's third, Pedro Lamy fourth, 2 rookies in the second row. In the third row, Manuel Reuter and Peter Dumbrek. Reuter holding up the Opel colors. Dumbrek holding up the rookie colors. Boy, they have been strong here. Next row, Thomas Jaeger, another rookie with the veteran Eric Ellery from France in the Opel. Further back in the pack, Jochen Winkelhock still trying to find his way in his Opel. Meanwhile, Uwe Alzen simply wants to get his car running and finish. And look at that. There are the Abt-Audis. Aiello and Thompson back in 11th and 12th positions. They can be very happy. It is wet. The drivers are on wet tires. Klaus Ludwig on the outside in the black Mercedes. On the inside, Bernd Schneider. They come down, ready to make the run on the long straight before the chicane that narrows the field down very quickly, and we're underway. Ludwig stays way outside, Schneider inside. Everyone has held positions very well to get through the start here on a wet course. Ludwig way outside on the right. Schneider goes inside. Ludwig cuts inside of his teammate, Marcel Fazler, and they line up that way going through the chicane. And everybody seems to have gotten through pretty well here. Well, spoke a little bit too soon as one car has spun out. Otherwise, everybody seems to have gotten through. With all the moisture coming up, it's hard to tell who came out where there. Schneider first, then comes Ludwig. So the two that finished 1-2 in the first race are running 1-2 here as we open up the second race of the day. Fessler is running third. Lamy is running fourth. And it's Eric Ellery whose car spun in the mist. Lucky that nobody hit him. Winkelhock goes by him there. And Uwe Alzen bumps into Marcel Tiemann. Alzen just continues to battle his way through with his Opel. Bernd Schneider, meanwhile, sets the pace. Ludwig second, Fessler third, Lamy fourth. Dumbreck is challenging Manuel Reuter. Reuter hangs on to fifth in that yellow and white Opel. Dumbreck is behind him, but he's being challenged by Thomas Jaeger. Heading down into the faster part of the course. Cars still sorting themselves out a little bit. But your leader remains the same. Your top four remain the same. Schneider, Ludwig, Fessler, Lamy, Reuter, Jaeger, and Peter Dumbreck drops back a little bit. Marcel Tiemann has moved up into this group. And there's Michel Bartels. He's had an up and down season so far, but so has Opel. So there you now get the cars as they sort out after the first lap. Marcel Tiemann got a good start. He's up into 7th place right now. Alzen back in 10th, Menzel in 11th after his miserable first race while the wrong selection of tires. Ellery's dropped all the way back after his spin. Wow, Dumbreck went through, spun. Everybody else is spinning. And Dumbreck had gone off the course, had luck in the first race that he didn't spin when he went off. This time he did. And he's dropped way behind. He is at the end of the pack. He's got a long haul ahead of him. There comes Marcel Fessler from Switzerland. Finished third in the first race. Christian Abt brings his Audi back onto the course. Let's take a look. Well, it looks like back in the pack, the drivers just went off because they went off. It was Dumbreck, and he lost it as he came back on. He spun, and everybody else got around him. So now everybody's just about happy. It looks like Ellery was the other one that spun in this case. Winkelhock went way to the outside, then come the Audis. So there's Dumbreck. You can see he got back on the course after coming off the grass. The car lost it, and Menzel gets by him first. Then comes Modena. Then comes Winkelhock going off to the right. Ellery has spun behind him. And that was kind of a sorting out process of its own right there. Dumbreck, who had been running so well, has dropped way back now. He's going to have his hands full, move back up to the front. Meanwhile, Marcel Tiemann, he is in that Mercedes with that dark blue hood, which is actually a painting of the motor. He has the red mirrors. It's about the only way you can determine his car. But that one right there with the yellow mirrors, the Mercedes of Bernd Schneider. The black car with the red mirrors of Klaus Ludwig. Black car, Mercedes, black mirrors is Fessler. Then comes Lamy, Reuter, Thomas Jaeger, Marcel Tiemann, and behind Tiemann, look at this. Uwe Alzen goes off again. He definitely is having some sort of problems with that car. Alzen has been fighting it all along, and he had it under control, and went very, very well until the tires went out of him at the Sachsenring. And now it's a case of something else is going wrong here. And once again, one of the Abt-Audis go off. It's Christian Abt. And the Opel of Modena has gone off the course. You can see how wet it is. He just slides back onto the track. And this right here is the battle for third and fourth. Fessler and Pedro Lamy, two Mercedes. So right now, Mercedes is sitting 1, 2, 3, and 4 with Manuel Reuter running 5th. And there goes what happened to Modena. He just went off the course. Doesn't look like he had any help or whatsoever. He just went off. Got through the gravel, luckily, so he didn't get stuck. And keeps on going. Alzen, Menzel, Timo Schneider. Schneider, another of the young drivers, the youngest in the field. And another driver goes off. This is just a day for everybody to have problems. You can see that. Darren Turner, the man that goes off there. He just keeps fighting his car. It's very, very difficult for him, though. Pedro Lamy is his teammate. Lamy's having a good day. He's running up in 4th position. There you see Timon battling with Jaeger, both battling for grip here on a very wet course at the Nürburgring. Everyone started the second race on wet tires. In the first race, several drivers attempted to start the race on slicks, and it cost them. But you can see that the battle right now is for 3rd and 4th. Reuter has 5th pretty much to himself. Timon going inside of Jaeger and gets by him. That's for 6th and 7th position. It doesn't look like Jaeger is giving up position. He's not. And they're going over the curbs. They're bumping. Let's see who gets through this corner. It's a wet corner. They both get through. And Marcel Timon's the one that hangs on. There was some tight racing heading right toward the hotel in the final corner before the start-finish line. Meanwhile, Uwe Alzen sits back there with Menzel behind him. So the action up front has sorted itself out. Mercedes running 1 through 4, with Reuter running in 5th position. And right now the battle is back in the pack to see who can hang on. This is for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th position as Menzel is running 9th in the Irmscher Opel right there, running behind Uwe Alzen. Then further back is Timo Schneider, and he's battling Bartels, and Bartels gets by him. Bartels, one of the veterans of the series. Schneider, one of the brand new ones. It's been a great mixture of drivers this season, and the young drivers have certainly proven their worth. They're right up there in all the categories. They just have not won one yet. But their consistency is there, and there's certainly some of them are paying quite a bit of money and learning how to handle one of these touring cars after most of them coming from formula racing. And the changeover is not that easy. But even a driver like Klaus Ludwig has his share of problems. Ludwig had a couple of races before he could go on. Eric Ellery had passed Schneider. He lost it. Schneider comes back and passes him again. And Eric Ellery is willing to try again. And Thomas Jaeger goes off. Well, he's in a difficult position. Whether he can get back in or not, that's a question. Jaeger in the team car of Bernd Schneider, who's leading the race right now. Back in the pack again, Timo Schneider and Eric Ellery. And Ellery gets inside. And Alzen goes off again. Something really has to be wrong with Alzen's car, and that was tight. That cannot all be a driver problem. Something is wrong in the car. But Uwe certainly has put his car to a test here. There goes Jaeger. He went straight off. There was just no reason for him to go off. He didn't have any help whatsoever. The car just took off and he was gone. And he got it slowed down enough before he hit the tires. Doesn't look like any real damage was done. The question is, can he get back in again? Ellery now has gotten by Timo Schneider. Here comes Uwe Alzen, and parts of his car are flapping in the breeze. That front spoiler is broken. And the man up front, Bernd Schneider. And look at the difference between him and the second place car, 50-year-old Klaus Ludwig, the veteran touring car star of Germany. Marcel Fessler, then Pedro Lamy from Portugal, followed by the Opel of Reuter, and then Marcel Timon in a Mercedes, followed by one of the Audis. How about that? The Audis are still running right up there, but Christian Abt, well, he's been lapped. That's not one of the ones running up front. Aiello has been doing extremely well. Uwe Alzen once again off the course. Something is wrong with the car, obviously. If this is going off at places it shouldn't. It's like a gear is stuck or something. Michel Bartels with a new line through that corner. He'll have to get back on the course and hope he can get back headed downhill and get up to speed. The weather here at the Nürburgring, always a contentious matter. Uwe Alzen goes straight off and then comes back on again. The man is being put to the test this year of his patience. The frustration level has been extremely high. He just has not had a competitive season. A couple of times he's looked very, very good. Other times, well, that's one of those you want to forget. Those are the things that nightmares are made of. And that's another nightmare. Whoa, is that close. Modena spun on his own, and one of the Audis just missed him. Stefano Modena in the ATS Opel. Whoa, he almost got hit by another one. In a very dangerous corner leading up to the start-finish line. He almost took care of two of the Abt-Audis. So Stefano Modena gets his car running again, but he's way back in the pack. There's Christian Menzel, followed by Eric Ellery. These two drivers have had their share of problems here in the second race. They had big problems in the first race. And now they're battling for position in the second race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters here at the Grand Prix course at the Nürburgring, and Ellery gets by the two Opel drivers going at it here. Whoa, and Menzel gives him a bump from behind. Menzel gave him a bump. This is where Menzel is at home. This is his home track. He knows it as well as anybody. And he gets inside as they head downhill. Two Opel drivers going at it. But they are farther back in the pack than they certainly would like to be. And there's Uwe Alzen. Part of the car rubbing against the tire. What else can go wrong for this man? It's not what you'd call a great birthday weekend. Celebrated the birthday on Friday, but has had his problems ever since. Timo Schneider goes off and certainly gains an advantage here. That's worth a penalty. Well, it won't be. Maybe not. Maybe not. Bartels will get by. Therefore, Schneider did not gain a position. If he'd gone through the corner like that and kept the position, then there probably would have been a time penalty. But in this case, he gained no advantage, and so there won't be any. And there comes Uwe Alzen behind them. These drivers back in the pack, battling for simply to get into the points. They're around 11th, 12th, and 13th positions. Schneider actually has had a pretty good season. He started off very strong and surprised just about everybody, and then it went downhill from there. He had two fourth-place finishes at Hockenheim, and Uwe Alzen goes off again. Something definitely wrong with the car. Something's just wrong, and he's just trying to bring it home. We said Schneider had two fourth-place finishes at Hockenheim. He had a fifth and a seventh at Oschersleben, and then it's got a little difficult. 12th and 11th and 2 sevenths. He was 16th here in the first race of the day here at the Nürburgring, but you have to remember that he started on the slick tires, hoping that the track would dry out. It didn't, and he had to go change tires and drop way back. But this is the man that's out in front. This is the man that's dominated. This is the man that's on his way to a second sweep of a race weekend. Bernd Schneider in Mercedes. Schneider won the two races at Hockenheim. He won the second race at the Nürburgring. He finished third at the Sachsenring to gain in points over his Opel contender Manuel Reuter. He won the first race of the day here at the Nürburgring and is on his way to the second race win. And quite frankly, he'll have a big point lead. His only contender will probably be his own Mercedes colleagues, and that would be Klaus Ludwig. But we're not there yet, although we are in the last lap. Bernd Schneider, one of the top touring car drivers in Germany, and this is the man that puts the Mercedes together. Hans-Werner Aufrecht. And this is his top driver, or one of his top drivers, but right now this is the man that's out in front of the points. And with this finish today and Manuel Reuter finishing down the list, Schneider will have a commanding lead, no doubt about it. His nearest contender will be Klaus Ludwig, as long as Klaus brings it home again second here in the second race. Heading through the tight chicane, nobody near him, can take his time, bring it home, heads toward the hotel, and then makes the right-hander down the start-finish line. And the crew will be waiting for him as he heads down, out. He'll swing over toward the wall. And Bernd Schneider has won the second race of the day here at the Grand Prix course at the Nürburgring. It's his 5th victory this season, the 7th for Mercedes. And this is the man that brought home 2 victories before for Mercedes, finishing twice today, Klaus Ludwig, finishing 2nd. Then Fessler 3rd in another Mercedes, and then Pedro Lamy 4th in another Mercedes, and there is Manuel Reuter, the top Opel finisher of the day, the best he can do with 2 fifth-place finishes. He's going to drop back in the points by big numbers. And Ludwig should be moving into 2nd place in the points race. But right now it's a very happy Bernd Schneider on a very wet day at the Nürburgring. A great look at the course here and the crowd. There you see the Mercedes dominance. Marcel Thiemann in the Mercedes is 6th. Alaric Ellery in an Opel is 7th. Turner in a Mercedes is 8th. So Mercedes had a great day here in the wet, and Opel still has a lot of work to do when it comes to setting up the car under these conditions. The Opel's finishing 9, 10, and 11. Then comes Dumbreck, who had a very difficult second race. Uwe Alzen managed a 13th. Aiello, after an 11th place finish in the first race, came in 14th. Not bad for the Abt-Audis. Jochen Winkelhock, he just as soon forget the day. He was back in 19th position. So now it's time to celebrate. Bernd Schneider on the top of the podium. Fessler's on the right, Klaus Ludwig on the left, and the celebration begins. And what a Mercedes celebration it is. It's the 4th sweep this season by the drivers, 3 times by Mercedes now, where they've won both races. And today it was a major one because they had taken a big lead in the points, and now look at this. Schneider is way out in front. He has a 42-point lead over Klaus Ludwig. Manuel Reuter drops all the way back to some 51 points behind in 3rd place. So Bernd Schneider on his way to a title in the German Touring Car Masters. The next stop on the tour will be a brand new course in Germany, the Lausitz Ring. It's an oval that they'll use part of the oval and part of a road course. Promises to be a lot of action in the German Touring Car Masters. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast today and will join us at the Lausitz Ring.